Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome along to the JACKOCAR Cup Series. It's Season 4, it's Round 4 here for the Japanese Grand Prix. I'm your commentator, Owen Wyatt. Jacko is here, but he's not in the commentary box. We'll get to that later on. But for now, with me, it is Jess. Hello, Jess.
Good evening, Owen. Good evening, everybody. Round 4, time does fly by, doesn't it? We're here at Japan. I absolutely love this track to commentate, hate this track to race, and it should be a good one. Last time Cup Series was here was in Season 3. That was quite an interesting end to the race, I have to say. Won't go too much about it. We got the stages tonight on lap 7 and 14, and the Jokers tonight. There's two of them. One of them is Kieran, and the other one who also had a Joker around Japan last season, it is OKK.
So we're going to see what the weather's like, etc. Kieran's joined in a little bit late. He's one of those drivers that had quite a dramatic end to last season, where my hilarious puns apparently made his mother laugh. I don't know. But we'll see what the weather is first of all, because obviously we all know what these one-shot qualifyings are like. And luckily for all the drivers, it's nice and sunny, and it means that the new driver tonight will have his chance to set a proper representative lap time. And as you all know, he's been in the commentary box ever since day one. The league is named after him. And finally, he's decided he's going to race the 59th different driver to race in the Cup Series. His name, of course, is Jacko. You all know it by now. And he's abandoned me now this week so that he can race. He might also be racing in the Silverstone doubleheader next week. But we'll focus on this one tonight first. As everyone knows, everyone is allowed just one lap. You all have your time slot to go out in, and the time on the top left of the screen tends to be about a minute behind, so if drivers don't go out on their right slot, that's basically why.
Yeah, it happened last week as well, where it said on the stream I went out at like 16 minutes or something, and I went out at 17, so I have a feeling if Jacko... Oh, it's actually working this week.
This is,
finally,
I think, the first time this has happened where it's actually worked. So this is good news for Jacko then, who's going to come out donning the JACKOCAR colours, of course. Naturally he will. And no pressure on you, lad. Absolutely no pressure on you whatsoever. But we all know that he's been waiting a long time for this. And let's say he'll be doing the best he can to don these colours and make them proud. And he's got the gold, he's got the red, he's got the orange, he's got all the basic colours that you all know and maybe love at this point. But yes, he hasn't binned it yet at least.
Yes, but Japan is sometimes an easy track to bin it, sometimes with the curves, but it has changed the handling model just a little bit since Monday with the new update came, but we'll see anyways. Last race in JACKOCAR, he was actually in the Kia Series last season, whereas in Mexico, the penultimate round of the season, he was meant to do the final round, but he got roped into the commentary box as one of the commentators couldn't make it. So Mexico was his last JACKOCAR race, but it was in the Kia Series last season, the penultimate round before the Championship 5. So, but how's he gonna end up with the big guns? Because this is not an easy tier, I have to say.
It's a very competitive tier. I think some people maybe take it a bit for granted, this tier, but actually, over the seasons, and certainly this season, it's proven to be a very competitive tier. And so I think Jacko's got the pace, though. He does have pace to be relatively competitive, so I wouldn't expect him to be crawling around the back. He's going to give it his all tonight. And as he comes around to start his lap, we're about to see if he knows the rules to his own league. Is he going to manage this lap correctly? Let's wait and see. As he heads down towards turn 1, shouldn't be any traffic. The only other driver out there is Camo Babo, and Jacko has completely bottled it in one corner. Of course, his rules are that you've got to finish the lap regardless, and so he will keep going. But we can take our focus off of him now, as he's disgraced himself enough for this qualifying session. So we'll have a little look at Camo Babo next up in his purple and green car. There's a lot of new liveries on the game this podium pass season, so it wouldn't be a whole surprise if you see a few of them tonight, because some of them are looking really quite nice, and we know how much the drivers like making their custom liveries on this game, because of course not many leagues let you do this.
No, I think there's only a few people that changed. I know I spoke to Red Matt yesterday and he's changed his a little bit due to the podium pass, but I don't think many people have changed it, but we'll see. I think you're only allowed to change it a few times and run your main livery at least 10 times. If you use it less times, obviously you'll get a penalty, but Here comes Camo Baba about to start his lap now. Let's see if he does not invalidate turn 1, which he does not. So at least he's not a disgrace compared to Jacko. He's going to get a bit of a tow from Deck, who is, I believe, a full-time driver now, I believe. Is that right?
I think so, yeah, but I don't think that was meant to happen. There's not really meant to be much traffic on these laps, and I'm wondering if he has left at the correct time. I'm thinking he might have been a bit tight on that one, but we'll wait and see. Stewards will obviously know exactly what time each driver leaves their garage. Perhaps it's just bad timing. I guess you're not always guaranteed to not hit traffic, but it certainly would have held Camo Babo back a little bit, because he would have had to get off the throttle. Jacko did finish his lap. I think he did have another trip into the gravel at Spoon though, so his time really was a bit in the mud, unfortunately for him. But as Camo Babo then heads through Spoon, let's see if he can keep it all facing in the right direction. Yes, he can. The number 2 exits nice and easily, and now it's a flat out burst all the way towards the Casio Triangle, the final braking zone of the lap. This lap will go P1 regardless of what happens, but we'll see what the benchmark is going to be anyway as he heads through. Keeps it all valid. A bit tight actually on that last part of the chicane, but he got away with it. The line is there. He'll be at 1 minute 30.2, and Kamababa then the first completed lap of the day. And well, we're not really used to seeing this man so early in a qualifying session. Thomas has really not had the best season so far. I think Jacko's had another incident, but yeah, he's Thomas is looking to really kickstart his season now. He finds himself as, well, the lowest point scorer on the grid. Paul McGuinness hasn't been here at all, so of course he won't get any points, but Camu Babo also has no points. Thomas only has 5, but he is the lowest point scorer, so he's going to want to get himself that little bit higher up tonight. I think he is on for a fastest lap, so that's good to see, but yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen him fighting for the championship, you know. It's season 1 all that time ago. We know how good he can be. Maybe just struggled a bit in the previous game. And again on this one, but as he crosses the line, it's nearly a second clear of Camo Babo.
He was purple in every sector as well, so he was looking more comfortable than Camo Babo. Up next is Deck, who again, like I said, is making his debut. Well, he made his debut last week in Bahrain. Didn't do too bad. He scored, I think, 7 points. He finished 10th last week due to Arthur forgetting the safety car rule that you're not allowed to pit under safety car unless you have damage, and that demoted him to, I think, was it 15th or 16th? So, but that promoted Deck up to 10th, so I'm sure we can't complain, but I'm sure he wants a higher result tonight as he comes across the line now. He's not purple in any sector, though, I don't think, so it's going to be a P3 for him, the slowest time out of all the runners so far.
Yes, that's a bit of a disappointing lap for him, considering his pace last time out was pretty decent. Here's Risky. He's actually going a bit slower by the looks of it, as he heads through the end of his lap, and now he's invalidated it for good measure, and so he will end up behind Jacko. That's why you want to finish your laps. 1, it's the rules, and 2, well, you end up ahead of people still. So I think next up we are going to have SD Maps.
Who again has invalidated.
Right, then. Moving on to KK then, who should have started his lap by now, but he didn't, because, as you would have seen, I caught him having a wee spin on board. Didn't want to mention it too much, but well, I've mentioned it now.
People like jinxing him, and he ends up binning it sometimes, so we're not going to say too much of it. But yeah, like we said earlier, his Joker trap tonight, he kind of likes Japan, doesn't he? Because he mainly picks Japan, apart from Season 1, where he picked Monza, where he actually won that race, I think.
Yeah.
So, but in the last Japan race in Season 2, he finished second. Can't remember where he finished in Season 3, but with the carnage that happened last season at the end of it, I don't know what. But it is an easy one stop, I think, around Japan, so good track to choose it, of course. But he again needs to have, I think, a better season. He's already had a better season than last season, but Aziz had a bit of a moment there. Somehow purple set to 1 in game, but it's not on task. Okay, someone has gone off. I don't know who that is. Probably one of the people on their outlaps having a spin there. And don't forget, you do have to complete your laps there. But KK's looking good so far.
Yeah, well, he's kept it on the island, but it's maybe not the best for his Joker strategy. He would have been wanting to qualify really in the top 10. Mind you, It could obviously rain, so that is always something to worry about when you pick your Joker, but regardless, you've got to get the qualifying lap in. I think this is comfortably going to be the slowest time of the day, though, as he heads through. So far, anyway, the slowest time. SD Mats, did he make it back to the pits to finish a lap? I'm not sure he did, actually. Seems to retired a bit too early there, but I'm sure people will look at that. But here comes OKK. It is the slowest time of the day so far, and so we can move on to Jordan, who's already at the end of the middle sector. A little bit more of a competitive time. I don't think it's as fast as Thomas is at the minute, but we'll see anyway as he comes out the final corner how competitive it is. It should be in the running for the front row anyway, as it stands, taking the tightest line towards the line. And yes, it is P2, so Thomas still holds that P1. And Kieran, well, you'll notice his helmet's actually working this week. I don't know if he's actually changed it, but the helmet that was causing all the issues is fixed now. So the Dazzle helmet that they managed to sell twice in the store without any helmet is now there. Well, it's not actually, because they removed it again. But regardless, he's now protected enough. He decided he wasn't overprotected in his gear last time. Again, though, not challenging Thomas's time. Of course, this is one of the tracks where Thomas was really strong back in the early days, when he had a real run at it in Season 1. I don't recall if he won the race or not, but he was certainly right up there, and it pushed him towards that Championship 5 as Kieran moves up into P3. As you can see, Thomas's time still holding very strong indeed. Right, Jamie's up next. He's invalidated, so he's not up next. So we'll go and see Vitinho instead, because he's still valid, which is useful.
Yes, and Vitinho's done quite well in Japan in the past as well, and I'm sure that he would want a better result than the last few races as well. Don't forget, you do need to finish to score points this season, whereas the last few seasons you didn't have to finish. So, again, not challenging Thomas's time as it stands. He looks very comfortable at the moment, so I don't think Vitinho's going to go fast. What was his set to one time? It's hard to tell. 32.7 was his set to one time, so compared to Thomas's 32.4, so already Thomas 4/10 quicker than Vitinho in the first sector. We'll look at his middle sector as he heads towards Spoon Curve now. He almost goes off the gravel trap, but we'll see how he does as he goes onto this straight now, as I think it's going to be, again, not challenging too much. 40.1. Wow, it's not that much quicker than Thomas again, but only 1/10 slower, so he did all right, much better in the middle sector. He comes across the line now, and it is going to be 1:29.4, P2. Brilliant lap from Vitinho. Lost it in the first set, but in the second set and the final sector was looking pretty good. Up next is Red Matt, I believe, in a much brighter livery this week.
Yes, it is indeed. A very bright livery as he heads around. I must say, it looks like it's actually glitching a bit. I don't think it's actually as bright as we think it is, because every time, well, you can see it for yourself, the yellow texture gets stronger the further the car is away. That's not really meant to happen. But still, nice yellow. I'm not going to complain about seeing more of it. But I must say, Vitinho was right on the edge on that lap. He went wide at both Degnas, or the first one, sorry, and didn't lose a lap. He was fully off the track but kept it on, so that is probably good knowledge of the track. Red Matt, though, seems to have even better knowledge of the track, because this is on for P1. If he can just keep this all on the island as he heads around the final corner, look to P1, because Red Matt is occupying that spot. A 1:29.2, and we only have a handful of drivers left to go. Next one up is gonna be Pete, I believe. If I can find his name. But he's binned
it and he's retired.
That'd be why I can't find his name. He's already in the wall. Cheers, cheers. I was going to say.
I don't know where he's binned it, but there was a yellow flag in the final sector, so it was probably there. Or it might be one of the Degnas, actually. It's hard to tell, but yeah, that's his qualifying session done, which is a bit of a shame there. So that will be MK Bourne next with the same livery which he's run all season. One of my favourites, actually. It looks very nice.
Yeah, it's a good livery. Obviously, Jamie has his green variant as well. It's a popular design, and it certainly looks great on the cars, thanks to the nice paint finish. I always like a good paint finish. You all know this now. But yeah, again, looking good in purple, and we'll see if he can put a good time up on the board. having a decent season so far, actually. And he's well in contention to be in the playoffs, so we'll see how he gets on tonight. But he's just got to get the lap finished first. Only 8 valid laps. That's quite a low number, I feel, for tonight. We've seen a couple people have some problems. SD Mats, Pete, Jacko, Risky, Jamie as well. So plenty of issues out there. So there's a good chance for people to get good results from sort of lower down in the grid. That's why you can see Thomas sitting P2, you know, he was right down at the bottom, and he still finds himself pretty much guaranteed a top 10 start now, I think, as NK Born goes up into P6.
So up next, I believe, is Iceman, who is going towards the middle sector, 32.5 for him as well, and I think there's someone else who's also binned it as well. So yeah, I've noticed in the Kia series as well, which was their first round this season, not many people set laps. I think only 8 or 9 people set laps, so don't know why it's an issue on this game, because on the last game there's hardly any issues at all. There's hardly any place you can invalidate, but I guess the game made it a bit harder than some tracks this game anyway. As Iceman is left and he's gone into the pits now, so he was on for a good lap.
That's a disaster.
So up next is Kyle then, in the nice livery with the rainbow halo, which I usually have on my car sometimes if I don't forget. He comes across the line. Didn't see what his middle sector was, but he may challenge Red Matt. Who knows? 129.4, that puts him P3, very, very close to the top, pretty much top 4.
Can't believe this. Thomas is still P2. This
wow.
is very impressive, and he's not going to get beaten by Jake because Jake's invalidated. So Thomas is guaranteed a top 5 star. I don't think many people would have predicted that coming into tonight. A lot of people will be predicting this man to go pole position, and that's one thing if you're Arnaud, but he seems incapable of winning. Jamie is the only winner this season who's a full-time driver. He's won twice so far, which if you see how quick this guy is, you'd be very surprised. As through the first sector, Arnaud, I believe, is the fastest through there, 32.2. It feels like it's the quickest. And
yes, it is.
I think he was very slidey through that first dig. Now, people are seriously giving it some through there, but he knows his pace. We all know his pace, but it's whether this could be the day he wins. It's a bit like Khalifa this last season, where we know who the fastest driver is out there, but it's so much harder than it looks to make it work as he comes through and towards the end of the middle sector. In a conventional league, he'd have it no problem, but with the way the safety cars are, the fact you can't pit during them, the fact you have to do 2 stops in the first place makes it already really difficult. But I think Arnaud has pole position more than in the bag. This should be at least half a second clear the field, if not more, as he heads through. I don't see Cam or Jamie getting near this, but you never know. It's actually only the 3/10, was a bit slower in the last sector. Maybe there is hope. Maybe there is hope, but I doubt it. But Cam, prove me wrong.
Yes, I'm just looking at Arnold's sector times. The only time he was not purple was the final sector. So the fastest final sector was for Coutinho at the moment, and the other 2 sectors purple belong to Arnold. So he can be beaten, and I wonder if Cam and Jamie can do that. Cam almost got a win in Baku, which was hard to believe, not gonna lie, and he wasn't that too pleased about his result last week. He felt like he could have done better in Bahrain. He got a bit unlucky with some of the safety cars that we had. We had quite a few around Bahrain. As he comes across the line, only himself and Jamie to set a lap at the moment. Can he get any higher? Nope, 5th place at the moment. So still Arnold on top. Thomas still P3. Oh, that's just insane. I'm not going to jinx too much for Thomas now, but here is our championship leader, Jamie, on his final lap now.
He's of course looking to become the first ever 2-time JACKOCAR Cup Series champion. He's certainly having a superb start. He's not even thought about going for the alternate strategy. I wonder if that hints at some rain perhaps, because he doesn't tend to do this. But now he's at the top of the championship, maybe it's somebody has to do. He's not looking very fast on this lap, which is a surprise. Makes you question why he always goes for the alternate strategy, because this is absolutely nowhere I don't think this is going to get anywhere near the top 5. Let's say as Jamie comes to the line, yeah, it's only 7th fastest.
Ooh.
So that means that, shock horror, Arnold's on pole position from Redmat and Thomas. That second and third is a surprise, but first, not so much.
Yeah, I think we thought that Cam or Jamie could be it, but no, Arnold just had it in the bag. And don't forget, he hasn't won a race this season, so if he wins tonight, he'll book his place in the playoffs. But I'm almost certain if he keeps his consistent form, he'll probably be in the playoffs anyway, regardless of if he wins or not. But at least he gives him confidence going into the race.
So then, here is the grid. Like I said, not many drivers setting times, only 13 on the board in the end. It is Arnold from Redmat, Thomas, Kyle, Cam, Vitinho, Jamie, Jordan, Kieran, the Joker driver, remember, and MK Bourne in the top 10. All starting us off. And then it's Camo Babo, Acorn, or Deck, OKK, the other Joker driver. We'll go through the rest of them on the grid. But, yes, this is now where we do find out that it is going to absolutely tip it down, and that's why Jimmy was so slow, because it amazes me he was that slow. For a championship leader, he must have something up his sleeve. I don't buy for a second he's actually that slow.
Yeah, and we'll
Told you.
that's why.
I told you. He must have a wet setup on. I wonder how many people have set up for this, because, well, it must be set in to be wet the whole day. There's no way you'd mesh your qualifying up, because I know these guys are faster than that. I know Jamie's, but he's not a champion and a championship leader again for no reason. So, yes, I wonder how many have set up for this. This could be great news if you're a Joker driver, because you only have to worry about one compound potentially, and that's the intermediate tyre. Because it looks inter to me. It could be the full wet, but I reckon inter probably. It takes quite a lot to be full wet on this game, and I think I can see over to some of the drivers who seem to have the inters on. So it would be for the Joker's drivers a simple pit once for more inters at any time, and you should be good to get to the end of this race.
Yes, I'm not sure. I haven't heard from the drivers if it's going to be raining for the whole race. But again, the drivers have to be on their game, really. So let's look at the tyres. I believe it is the inters. Yes, it is the inters. We were right. So that's strange because it has a bit of standing water on some side of the track. So turn 1, I think, is going to be an issue tonight. Oh, God. Watch out for chaos. I'm almost certain there's going to be a lap 1 safety car, but if there is, don't forget you can't pit under safety car unless you get a puncture or excessive damage, which is full orange or half red. So, yes, I am predicting there is going to be a safety car early on, I think. That's just the nature of Japan turn 1 in the wet, but at least it's not full wet. Thank goodness.
Well, it feels like it's right on the edge. It might make this actually almost more difficult for the drivers than full wet would have been. So, certainly one where you want to keep your nose clean. It's not easy to do that in this league, but I'm sure they'll give it a go. I'll go for the rest of the grid then. So we know what the top 13 are. They are the only ones who set times, who's top 13. The one who didn't set times didn't maybe get as much airtime. SD Max in the fruit salad livery. He's the highest non-qualifier. From Pete, who binned it in mysterious circumstances. Iceman, who disconnected it in mysterious circumstances. Jacko, who's embarrassed himself on his debut. Risky, who lost his lap right at the end in the final corner. Jake, who invalidated his lap earlier on and nearly bins it into the wall on the out lap. And Jamie in the alien green car. Didn't see much of him either, not too sure where he invalidated either, but he's right at the back.
Yes, maybe starting at the back around Japan is not too bad in these wet conditions as well. But if we may see people go off all over the shot as well, so it may be hard to avoid. So, and it's hard to see as well around Japan in turn 1. It's an absolute nightmare in the wet conditions. So we'll see how they do. I think Arnold's going to have the most track advantage, I would say, because he has no spray behind him. He just has clear air. We already got 1 disqualification in the formation lap. Thomas. Oh, let's hope that's not the sign for things to come for the guy that we want to do well in this league. But we'll see.
So, they're all coming round then. Gotta have another shout out there for Jamie's livery, because now with the green tyres on the alien green car, the black and green, he spinned it.
Oh.
This
you
is
talk about him and he's
bad
spinned it.
sign, I must say. Bad sign, but nice livery. You've even got this is an intermediate livery if I've ever seen one, but he's going to be parking it right up at the back. He was going to do that anyway. If anything, he's just got a little bit of extra heat in his tires. Perhaps it was intentional. He's trying the Marcus Ericsson technique, but he parked it up on the start line right at the back in P20. Everyone else is waiting for him. Thomas already in the wall on the outlap to the grid. Is this a sign of things to come? Is that why he qualified so high, perhaps? Is he on a dry setup? We'll see how it all pans out. It's Arnold on the front row, red mat alongside him. Thomas has jumped the start.
Oh.
I don't want to laugh, but I have just laughed because of course he's done that. Boogity boogity boogity, by the way. Thomas has jumped the start and proceeded to lose 2 positions in the process, which, yeah, that makes sense. And we have got our accident. Who is it? Vitinho, I believe, who finds himself way off the track, but with no significant damage, at least to the front of the car anyway. A few other drivers going wheel to wheel on the way up the hill. There was some front wing flying about. Jamie's made 9 places in 2 corners. What a start for him as he continues on his way up the hill. Maybe the spin on the formation lap is the technique that you should all be going for, ladies and gentlemen, because what a start for him. But Arnold, of course, is leading the race. I don't think anyone's really too surprised by that one. But when safety cars come into play, that's when it's going to really test him, because we've seen so many times this season that anything can go wrong for him, and in most cases it does.
Yeah, there's some people that are probably hoping for Arnold to do bad, but he's doing well so far. There's a few people that did get damaged that one. One of them was Pete and one of them was KK. They got yellow front wing damage, and Vitinho has also got damage, but only 5% damage to his car. So that spin didn't cost him too much. Well, at least I think he could go for a few more laps, but he is struggling to plant his car at the moment. He can't even get past OKK, so yeah, not the start that he would have wanted down in last place.
But it does get worse because Thomas is going to have to take a drive-through penalty. That does not count towards your allotted pit stops. That is simply a penalty that you're going to have to take. And if OKK's one with damage, he might take his one and potentially only pit stop in this race. Now, Kyle is also pitting early. Like I say, the intermediates go a long way on this track, so you can make your first stop nice and early, and then only have to worry about one more. If you get a safety car popping up right now, you look like a genius, and that's full wets for one of them. Jamie's in the pits for full wets, so I said it on the iLab. He mentioned standing water. I suspected we might have been on the crossover point. And is this what we're saying with Jamie then? Is he the only one who's doing this? He is the only one who's doing this.
That is a gamble for Jamie, our championship leader, but he's the only one that's qualified into the playoffs, so he could take those risks and he doesn't have to worry. But he's still got to fight for playoff points because, as we all know, playoff points is crucial, I think, for the playoffs, because once you get to the playoffs, that gets carried over when you first start, as they basically start on a clean slate, but those with playoff points are going to be way ahead. So I don't know what Jamie's thinking right now, but at least the pressure's off him right now. Oh, Arnold's had a bit of a slide there.
Oh.
As Red Mat's now in the race lead. Was not expecting that from Arnold. He never makes mistakes. Camo Babo's gone off as well. That's into the hairpin, I think, as well. He's struggling a little bit there. A few people just can't find the grip on these wet conditions. I think for some of these guys, it's their first full race, I think. Most of the races, some people had a dry, but I think there was France as well, where it had a bit of rain in qualifying. But I think that was pretty much it.
I tell you what, Arnold is struggling out there, and I didn't quite catch his slide, but it isn't surprising me as we see him really doing it again on the way up through Spoon Curve, or not through Spoon, sorry, 130R. As Red Mat then sets the fastest lap. Remember, stage points at lap 7 and 14. We're not quite close to that yet. Jamie, I was watching him while Arnold was having his accident, and he's not quick on these wets, so it's not working. Jordan is fighting with Deck here for P6. I think he's going to get through Deck. Is this around your side? We're going to see in the wets. Nah, he doesn't quite go for it. Not brave enough just yet. Still though, Jamie's right behind them. He's made 12 spots now. Incredible. It really is. He's absolutely flying out there. Shame he invalidated his qualifying lap, because really, if this is what sort of quality he has, and if he was near the front, he could have been fighting at the front. by now, but he's got plenty of the race to go. If he's still as aggressive and fast as this for the rest of the day, who knows where he'll end up, because right now he's having a stunning start.
Yeah, as well as Akon goes a bit wide, so that might be a thank you very much for Jamie. No, Deck actually recovers that quite nicely, but yeah, I have to agree. You have to not give up, and Jamie, we thought his race was going to be over at the start of the race because of his spin in the formation lap, but he seems to have the car under control. Maybe the spin was maybe intentional, or maybe helped him a little bit get away as well. So, well done to him so far with his lap time so far. He's looking like one of the fastest man on a track at the moment. 44.2 for him, which is the same pace as Deck at the moment, and Jordan and Kieran, as Jamie's going to go for a move into the Casio triangle as he goes and clips the curb there, and that's a move done now. I think we got Iceman as well. They might have a piece of the action. There's a bit of banging wheels there, but Jamie gets P7 from Deck and Iceman. I think Deck's struggling a little bit. So that's Iceman to gain. Iceman side lower down as well. Could try go around the outside into turn 1. Not very easy to do. He's going to hold on to the outside line, it seems, and he gets it done.
So Iceman there taking advantage of the contact between Deck and Jamie. So Jamie stays in P8. Jamie makes his second stop. That's his last stop for the day. And that'll be back onto intermediates. Can he get these intermediates to the end? Who knows, but I guess he's sort of got no choice now but to try. If he gets safety cars, then it pretty much plays him into some fantastic position. So he just has to keep it on the road, and this could be a somewhat genius strategy. We'll see.
Yeah, the only driver to make 2 stops out of everyone so far, but he's even ahead of a Keiko right now as well, so he's not in a bad position, but it's going to be hard for the tyres to warm up at least as well. So Red Matt is looking on course to be getting the first stage point, but Arnold is looking to stop that fight. Another driver that's doing well so far is Cam. And I know he's a weather merchant, so I think he was happy that it was rain forecast in the race, and he could get another podium and could solidify his P2 in the championship. He maybe could get a playoff spot if he could hold on. He's actually catching up to these guys if these two keep fighting, but yeah, Cam's doing very well. MK Bourne's doing good as well. And Kieran, our Joker driver, doing brilliantly as well. This could play well into his hands if there's a safety car as well, because he will be on cloud 9, he would as well. So I think he's chosen the right track to do his Joker, especially on the wheel as well. But Japan is a wheel track, so he's probably handling a lot better than, obviously, I don't think he raced in Japan last season because he didn't join at that point. So I don't remember, but he's doing well in... I think he did, and he did quite well there too. So, Kieran must be a Japan merchant, and he's probably liking it. He's got a train of cars behind him fighting for 6th place, so he's allowed to pull away and just have a bit of fun. So, yeah, he's doing well in P5, but he could be a net P1 once everybody else pits.
Long way to go. Potential safety cars could mess all of it up. But as it stands, it is looking pretty sweet. Arnaud now has a penalty. You'll have seen that popping up on your screen. So he's pushing hard, but perhaps too hard. And, well, are we seeing another victory going down the drain for Arnaud? We're seeing Cam's consistency is being good. That's why he's ahead of Arnaud in the championship. So, yeah, the little mistakes need to be ironed out for Arnaud. I'm only allowed to say this because I'm faster than him. If I was slower than him, you know, that'd be a real trouble. But I'm faster than him, you know. But,
you did beat him last week, though. So you can say that you're faster than him.
I battered everyone last week in that other league that we do. But,
yeah, we can't say that because it's currently 2-0 to JACKOCAR at the moment in the battle that we have. Yeah. So we can't say the other league at the moment.
It's in Arnaud in the bits. Let's see how he does. Like I say, he's not used to being in these positions. Maybe that's why, because we battle him so hard that he ends up not getting points and all that rubbish in the other league. And so he's just maybe not used to being at the front. Poor guy. But now he's falling back down to the norm. There you go, outside the top 10. Or maybe he'll stay inside this time. A little bit of respite for him. Crucial for his race, this, that he doesn't get jumped, but he has been jumped there by SD Mats, who might slow him down a bit. So Red Matt, he might stay out. Oh, safety car. Safety car? No, he's kept his wheel intact. Lucky boy, SD Mats. Oh, we still got one. Still got a safety car regardless, though. Well, isn't that a lucky break for Arnold? Just as I was saying, oh, wouldn't it be disastrous now he's been stuck behind him? The guy he was stuck behind maybe got a bit spooked by seeing one of the fastest drivers on the grid right behind him. And he stacks it in the wall and brings the safety car out. Perfect timing. It's almost like it's Lewis Hamilton in that car. Mind you, Jamie won't be too, unhappy with this. Nor will Kieran, because that just closes him right up to the leaders, and when he makes his one and only stop, he should end up ahead of Arnold now comfortably.
Yeah, so everybody else is probably not happy that they have to stay with the safety car because you can't pit unless you got damage. So SD Max, I'm almost certain will pit. I believe he does have enough damage to. I'm almost certain.
No way on that car. He'll pit.
No, I'll see. Oh yes, it's full red damage for SD Max. Yes, that's definitely a box. He's allowed to do that. So you just have to still show it, of course, to the stewards. But we are showing it on stream, and is that evidence enough, stewards? Yes, it is.
We saw it live. I don't think you could ask for any more than that.
Exactly. So yeah, he's going to go in, but that might put him an advantage though in the rest of the race. So that's probably not too bad for him. But I was surprised he was not out of the race. So that was lucky.
I'm surprised not out of the race. Much more that there was actually a safety car for it. We've seen it for debris before, but yeah, that's what we got, a safety car for the debris. So.
And we got the Aston Martin safety car for the first time.
Oh yes, let's have a look at that. Yes, it's green. I know, shocking. But yes, we do then see the rain getting a lot lighter. So if anyone was looking at these full wets, not anymore. That's certainly getting lighter. Perhaps we end up going towards the dries later on. And that might be why Arno made a stop so early, just so that he'd only had to make one more stop and for the dry tyres. You want to make your pit stops in the wet period. If you have to make more than one, it makes all the sense in the world to do it. But even though you can't pit at the minute, Red Matt will still pick up this playoff point at the end of lap 7. So that's something to him, knowing that he's been almost certainly jumped by Arnold and Kieran now. At least he'll get a playoff point, which could be crucial towards the end of the season, because as you all know, he is in the top 10 drivers, but he is only 9th in that top 10, so he'll take as many playoff points as he possibly can.
Yeah, he's not that really consistent in some tracks, whereas in some other tracks he likes it. And he even said to me yesterday that he doesn't like Japan, he keeps spinning, but he's doing a lot better in the wet, so maybe he's had a bit more practice since I last spoke to him yesterday, and he's probably a bit more confident. Usually there's people that speak to us saying, yeah, I'm not good around this track, and they end up winning by like 5 seconds or something. But yeah, Red Matt is impressing, so is most of these guys. But I think we're going to see a train of cars going into the pit lane a lap after the safety car. That's one other rule that has been introduced this season. You can't follow the safety car into the pit lane like we used to last season. You have to wait until the end of the first green lap after the safety car. So the pit lane is closed when the safety car comes in eventually. So, yes, as a rule that I sometimes forgot. I almost forgot a few days ago, but luckily I didn't. But let's see if they don't forget this time. I think most people have raced more than one race this season, so they should be fine. Hopefully Jacko remembers his own rules. Fingers crossed.
Obviously, this safety car helps him too, because he's now, Jacko, the 5th highest car. He's made 1 stop so far. So that brings him back into contention a little bit in this race. He's sort of been in no man's land so far. And if this is to dry up more, then it means he only has to make 1 more stop and it'll be onto some lovely dry tyres. And that's obviously quite the advantage. If it does dry up, that means actually Jamie doesn't have much of an advantage, because he'll have to make a 3rd stop anyway. But, yeah, we'll see. I'm assuming this is going to dry up. The rain wouldn't start getting light like this and then not dry up. I mean, that makes no sense. It will dry up. As Red Matt, by the way, did pick up the playoff points. I know we all knew he was going to anyway, but it's always good to confirm it. Everyone's on lap 14. And, we'll just hopefully see the safety car in this lap now, because the guys have taken a while actually to catch up. OKK still hasn't caught the back of the train yet, but he will do by the time we get through these Degnas. We'll watch him as he heads through. Ah, no, he's still taking his time. Come on, lad, I want to get this race restarted. No one's even out of the race.
Kind of reminds me of season 1. Well, I had a similar issue where I find it hard to catch up to the safety car, but at least he's not too extreme, so I think he's caught up now. He has.
I think we all know too well about that incident.
We do.
We do, but I think I was still a child back then, so I can get excused for being a bit annoyed at that one. I'm now mature enough to not do that again. As I calmly, as you might have noticed, wait for OK to catch up, and now we look forward to the racing restarting.
If it restarts. Hey. There we go. Thank you, game.
So, 2 rows of grids before the start-finish line. That's when you can go. I think that might not be possible here, though, because I'm not too sure there are any grid spots before the line. We'll find out as Red Matt prepares to conduct the restart. He cannot go until he gets to that point. So I'll ride on board. We'll see if we can find the point. Oh, no, there are some grids. He has gone maybe a tad early, but I think we'll let him get away with that. As we go racing once again, plenty of side-by-side action, but not at the front. They're just staying nice and calm as they blast through turn 1. And not much position changes actually at the moment, as Risky does get past Deck, but they're side-by-side, and Deck on the inside might well fancy getting the move back done, but he can't quite manage it. Looks like Kieran in 4th place is trying his best to hold off cars behind. He just has to keep his nose clean really, because he's in a really nice position to win this race at the moment, as they all head up the hill towards the Deck and the corners. And it is Red Matt who's held on to his lead. Cam not really challenging.
No, he's not. And it may be just me, or is the rain getting lighter?
Oh, so, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's it could. I think with your prediction saying it could dry up, I think that you might be right here, and we could have some dry tyres. So Jamie is probably not going to be too pleased about it. But we got another move for P8, I believe, as Risky gets past Akon, past the hairpin. Carl has got past Thomas, so we're seeing more moves in the background. Jamie gets past Jacko in the same place as well. KK's having a merry must about another spin. Oh, Pete's off. He's got front wing damage, massive front wing damage to Spoon. Another safety car. Can't it just get any worse for our front 2 at the moment? Their tyres must be cut. I'll check Taz in a minute actually to see what their tyres are like. But again, good for Kieran. Not good for anybody else, I have to say. There still has to make 2 stops, because the way this is going, it could dry up by the end of the safety car. So,
well, it's keeping Jake and Jamie and Jacko and SD and OKK and Pete actually, and Arnold and Kyle, all the people who've made 1 stop basically so far, keeping them all in the right window to take advantage when it does dry up. So they'll be happy enough to see these safety cars. Obviously Kieran as well will be liking these, but leaders not so much, because at this rate Red Matt's going to end up taking both playoff points before he even visits the pit lane once, and that's not really the way you want to be strategizing your racing at the moment. So yes, it does look a bit grim. Pete has made his 2nd mandatory stop, but I am almost certain it's going to stop raining. It has to stop raining. It just does. It's the rules, I've decided. So I've made a prediction, I'm going to stick with it, and this rain will subside at some point. We need it. Yeah, well, he's made a 2nd stop, he'll have to make a 3rd.
Yeah, but there has been some moments around Canada when people made more than 3 stops at some time, so at least Peter's not doing too bad. At least he's keeping it on the road. So
I think he might still hold the record. Or was that an LR8 record? I think it's something.
It was around Monaco.
9 pit stops in 1 race. It was something ludicrous like that. I think he held that record. I'm not too sure.
It wasn't RR8. I think it was JACKOCAR still.
Well, it might have been one or the other, but well, simulation damage probably was then JACKOCAR, the night race at Monaco, and he made 9 stops.
Nobody's beat that record. Not even Tuesday's race. The most stops they were made on Tuesday was someone with 6 stops. So Pete still holds that record at the moment, and that's a record you do not want to keep. So let's hope Pete doesn't make any more pit stops, because otherwise he'll probably beat his own record. But there we go. I'm almost certain the top, well, apart from Kieran, the top 9 will be pitting at the end of, not at the end of the safety car, but the end of the first lap after the safety car. They just got to. They've got to, because otherwise they'll be pretty much behind the ones who made their stop, Kieran. So it looks like a lot of people are going to jump up because of it. Like, there's a few people that had damage that could be back in this race, which is sometimes a rule that I sometimes complain about because it ruins my race so I don't get damaged. But there you go, it happens. And I think everyone's caught up, so we should, well, almost caught up anyway. So hopefully we should get underway very soon. I want some racing, for God's sake. I don't want crashes.
I do want the wrong league.
No, I do want crashes. I do want crashes, but I don't want safety cars.
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry.
It's always the unintended consequence, isn't it, of utter carnage? But, well, wait till we find a crossover point, then we'll be in safety cars forever. One of my notoriously angry moments came because of said accidents causing safety cars and crossover points. I think it was Austria season 1 or season 2. Either way, it was to decide the last playoff spots, and it flipping started to rain, and the safety car came out, and it ruined everything because everyone could do their crossover point at the same time, and it just ruined the whole race.
It was season 1. I think Khalifa pitted before anybody else and took the gamble, and that's when I think he did well in the race and won it. Or it might have been season 2 as well.
Yeah,
I'm not entirely sure.
Both, to be honest. I mean, we had bad luck there plenty enough. As a reason we made it the season finale. I had a knack for being a bit chaotic.
Yes. Isn't there a season finale that's not chaotic there in JACKOCAR? Or even a playoff finale? I don't know.
Well,
but
it's what we do best.
Exactly. That's why I like JACKOCAR, because of the chaos. There we go.
So, this safety car then should be ending at the end of this lap. Speaking of the calendar, by the way, I know some people are interested in what we're doing. Obviously, Portimao got put into the game this week. Unfortunately, it would appear that Mexico City is no longer on the calendar. I know everyone's going to miss it deeply. Especially Jamie, actually. He loves this place. But he's not going there this season. He will be going to Portimao for the 5th from last round, so that'll be on the 18th of November. But let's focus on the 16th of September, because safety car's in at the end of this lap, and we're about to go racing once again here in JACKOCAR. Again, you cannot pit on this restart, you've got to take it. And Redmat, he knows his restart points, we know his restart points. Let's see him get away, and it looks like it's a pretty good start for NK Bourne with his penalty, remember. I don't think he's actually going to get the move done. Kieran, if anything, has got the best run. Will he try it running outside of turn 1? Big risk to take, decides not to, because there's a first win on the line here for him, as MK Bourne tries to get past again and fails once more. Arnaud making some moves, he's up into P9 at the moment. Let's see if we can get any higher throughout this lap. A lap where surely pit stops are going to have to happen.
Yes, he'll be a net P2 when everyone else pits. Obviously, Kieran is doing his Joker. Arnaud has made one stop. So, yeah, Arnaud will be a net P2. Carl will be a net P3. And then it'll be Jamie. Jamie, then the other Jamie. Jacko, Estimat, KK, and Pete. And then everybody else will be lower down because they haven't made their first stop yet. There was a bit of bargy there from Deck and Arnold there, but I think Deck has got past him. Yes, he has.
That not quite going to Arnaud's script as he falls back down to where he started that lap. As Kieran does appear to be struggling for pace. Jordan seems the quicker driver of the two, and I wonder if he's going to get him on the run up to 130R. Let's see the run. I think Redmat's got away okay from Cam and NK Bourne. Those three aren't really going to be challenging too much, but Jordan really trying to find a way past Kieran, but he nearly into the back of him, but no way through. Jamie, meanwhile, is trying to get by Iceman, late on the brakes, nearly spins, has some wheel-to-wheel contact, and how many are going to enter the pit lane then? None of them.
No.
Well,
what?
That shows what we know, doesn't it? Well,
yeah.
Deck's
no, there's still people.
There's a couple.
Deck, Thomas, and Camo Babo has made their forces, jumped the gun and stayed out. I wouldn't have done that. I would have gone into the pit straight away.
They all fancy a playoff point. They're all hoping the leader pits and they can take a playoff point because we're only one more lap away from that at the end of lap 14.
That's why Redmat's staying out.
That's probably why the rest are standing. They're all hoping he messes it up and pits, and then they can steal a point. So that's probably what they're all out there for, actually. So Thomas and Cameron Webber were in the pits along with Deck, and so you can see how far behind they've come out. And rain is still falling, to be fair. Mind you, we're not even halfway through this race yet, so who knows how long it'll keep spitting for. Top 3 are all just in a league of their own. There's no real point watching them. They're not really doing anything. They've all got
top 4 technically. Well,
no, I mean Kieran's under all sorts of pressure, so we can watch that one, fair enough. But top 3 not bothering each other too much at the minute. Jordan, I feels quicker than Kieran, but not seemingly able to get a move done. Obviously, no DRS going to be enabled in the rain. Possibly as we get towards the dry, we'll see the rain or the DRS enabled. Only down the main straight, though. It's probably one of the weakest DRS zones on the whole calendar. Still, though, you never know. It could help later on, as Jordan is actually starting to fall away a little bit, isn't he, from Kieran? So they're all just sort of mind their own business. Red Matt does start again, as does Cam, as does NK Bourne. Kieran obviously will start as well. Jordan decides to pit. And who else? Only him.
Only him at the moment, and that does confirm that at the end of lap 40, is it the end of lap 14 that the stage points up? Oh, yeah. I thought it was the beginning of the lap, sorry.
Yeah, you're alright. I've been doing this for 4 seasons, I still don't know what the flipping rules are yet.
I don't think anyone knows the whole rule set. We always have to check every race. Oh, are we doing the right thing? Are we doing the right thing?
I don't think any other league has an extensive rule book as big as our one. It's ridiculous. But I've never read it, to be honest. But I wonder how many of the drivers have, because they're all going to make sure they're doing their thing. As it looks like Arnold actually challenged the back of Risky. Hasn't managed to make it work. He's in 8th place at the moment. And as they all head around, we're just sort of waiting for something to happen, and that might happen soon as Jacko decides to go off to Narnia. Let's just keep it on the island, because you're in a really good position right now, my friend. You've got to keep yourself in that good position. I swear, if you lose this now, I'll never let you live it down, because as it stands, Jacko is sitting in at, what, 6th place? What a debut that would be.
And with his own league as well in the Cup Series, where we're so used to him racing in Kia last season, that will just be a miracle, considering he started near the back and he invalidated in the first corner. So that will be a comeback and a half for Jacko. Imagine him getting the driver of the day as well in his own league, but we'll see. As Red Mac comes across the line, and yes, that does confirm he's got the 2nd playoff point. I think the only driver to get playoff points. Yeah. Arna got the one for pole position, and Red Mac got the 2 stage points. So the only 3 with points at the moment today, as Iceman is in the pits.
Arnold does get through Risky. There's some wheel binding on the strip, but Arnold up into P6, and Kyle as well. He was harrying the back of the Tinu for quite a while there. He's finally made his way through. Jamie, slowly but surely, getting himself up the field as well. He sits in that sort of P4, I reckon, at the minute, which isn't looking too shabby. Can he get by Vitinho quickly as well? He's trying on the outside of the Dunlop curve, and he might have broke his front wing now, Jess. I know you've got your task there. Can you check? That was a nice old knock.
Vitinho's just got the 5% damage that he got at the start, which he's running since the whole of the race so far, so fair play to him. But I don't think it picks up in the game, but nobody else has got damage. Ivan's on the softs.
DRS is enabled. We're dry.
That's good call from Ben there. Very good call.
You wouldn't think it, would you? Because it's still raining. But this means all these people who haven't stopped yet, what on earth are they thinking? Because they're thinking, what do you mean DRS?
They got stopped twice, don't forget, Owen.
That's insane. What on earth are they thinking? They're thinking, oh, Christ, I didn't think this is going to happen. At least they can do 2 soft runs now, but this wasn't meant to. It's still raining. They're sitting there, they're probably as confused as we are. But Red Matt does pit. And I assume they're all going to pit now, apart from, Kieran will pit as well.
Okay, Vaughan, why have you not pitting?
Well, he doesn't think, he doesn't agree with the fact that it's, well, I mean, I don't blame him. It's still raining.
It's still wet. It's still, the track's still, like, it's still damp. It's still slippery. So I don't blame him, to be honest. But there's quite a lot of people that are going to get double stacked. Arnold stays out as well. Kyle does. Jamie stays out as well. So Red Matt still comes out a net P1. And a cake, I think, just about jumps both of them, but he's still yet. Oh no, he's already done one stop, I think, hasn't he? Yeah, he's done one stop, but he still needs to pit for dries. So, yes, Red Rat is your net race leader at the moment because he's on the dries. And let me see, does he need to do one more stop? Yes, he does though.
So Kieran's still your net race leader. He's all over the back of Jordan.
Safety car. Flag.
Safety car now is disastrous.
Risky.
We do not want a safety car for the crossover point. It's never something you want to see.
Oh, phew, we didn't. That's a relief there.
And I'm watching as Kieran. Oh, he's all over the grass. He's trying to get through Jordan. Do not crash, whatever you do.
Do not bin it.
There's a race win on the line here, my friend. You've got to get through, and yes, he has.
Ah. He almost had a slide then. That was close, Kieran, I have to say. We're not playing favourites, we promise, but we want to see a driver that has never won before win a race. Remember Monza a year ago with Gasly? That was great. Shame that didn't happen this year with him, but there we go. Iceman's got past Jordan, and he's already catching Kieran, look. Kieran could be the net race leader soon. Cam is trying to get past OKK, OKK's on the soft. No, Cam's on the soft, sorry. Oh, it's just so hard to tell with the people still making stops. But MK Bourne's in the pits anyway. And everybody else that's still yet to stop, I believe, will make their stops. I have a feeling OKK will follow them in, surely. He's got to. Yeah, he does. Okay, so everyone now will have made at least one stop, but there are people who are going to have to make another one at some point. We have a car facing the wrong way. There's a good chance that's Pete. Good chance he gets hit as well. They're not careful. It is Pete.
And is there someone else? No, it's just him. Or maybe it is. It's MK Bourne, sorry. Yes, MK Bourne has gone for a spin. And he recovers back out behind Arnaud in P6, but he does have Kyle on him. So, this is the fight then. Arnaud versus Kieran for the win. I don't think we would have said that really earlier on, but that's sort of how it's panning out. But, oh, and there's Jamie facing the wrong way again. Let's try not crashing into anyone when you recover back onto the track. Easier said than done with no ghosting, but it looks like he's achieved that. Let's just make sure Jake doesn't end up crashing into him. And, yeah, well avoided. So, these guys are struggling on that crossover, definitely. That's what I was saying about. But, yeah. Arnaud, 2.2 seconds plus a penalty to deal with on Kieran. Can Kieran take a victory tonight? That would be absolutely fantastic, and I'm going to have to find a funny pun now. Oh, brilliant.
And Jacko is not there in the box to witness it.
I don't think he cares. He's too busy having a ball out there in P13.
Well, he still gets points though, because he's still in the race. No retirement so far, Aaron.
Yeah, and 2 safety cars make it make sense, but in fairness, with all these drivers yet to make a second stop, it could be a top 10 finish here, actually, for Jacko later on. So we'll wait and see, but we don't really care about him at the moment because, like I say, it really is all about the fight for what will be the lead. Saying that, though, Red Matt and Cam, they're going to be rapid at the end of this race. So do keep your eye on those two. Jamie's pitted after his spin. But, yeah, we've got 10 to go here, and once again, we're seeing quite the exciting finish brewing up, and we know the last time Kieran was fighting at the end of a race, he ended up sort of in the wall. It didn't go too well.
No, don't say it now, you said it now.
So, he knows what he has to not do, as Risky has a spin. Let's hope he hasn't broke the car, and hopefully no one smashed into him, let's say.
No damage.
S's are very difficult not to get hit in, but you've got to be careful with those overheated tyres as well, not to end up spinning around. But not only have you got Arnold all over Kieran, there's a chance that Kyle and Jamie, because they're also completed their mandatory set of stops, there's a chance they could get involved in this as well. With no penalties, remember, they could be a decent factor in this race, so do keep your eye on them as well. But 8/10 is the gap. Arnold rapidly closing. And I think Pete's fallen to last place. That could be a safety car. Yes, it is. No front line once again. You know what that means by now. And if you're Red Matt and Cam, that's the worst possible news. Because they had made a 9-second gap over Kieran. That's been evaporated.
The second safety car caused by Pete.
Yes, he's not. and he's still in the race.
How?
Again, make it make sense.
According to TAS, it's 100% damage. That's usually retirement, both sides. So, but his rear wing is still valid, so that's probably why. That is the strangest call of a safety car I've ever seen. Pete, fair play that he's still going, my friend. But
it's happened 3 times now.
Well, if he finishes, at least he gets a point. So, and that's probably why he's still going, of course. But he's going to make a 4th stop now. Oh.
We haven't had many races in this league where all 20 drivers have got to the end, but at this rate, people just they're refusing to crash out of the race. And so they might manage it. I don't know, I think it's happened a couple of times in this league before, but it's a rarity in any league. But with the rate these guys are going, I don't see what's going to put them out of the race at this point, as Pete recovers from his 2nd race-ending accident back into the race.
Yeah, so he comes out, and I'm quite shocked that there's still cars still in this race because of simulation damage, whereas most of the other leagues, they have like more than 1 retirement. It's all usually standard damage. So, yeah, we could see that, but don't hold our conclusions too soon. We still got like 11, actually no, more than that to go this race. We've got 8 laps to go this race, and still a race winner, which we don't know. I think at this rate, I think Jamie, it could still win, but highly unlikely. We could see a different race winner. We could.
I'd say Jamie Wynn is actually pretty good looking at the minute.
Same with Carl as well.
Carl and Jamie, the 2 championship protagonists from season 2. I mean, well, Arnold was also a protagonist in that, but he also sort of wasn't. And we knew it was really between these 2. But they're all near each other on track anyway. And they're all going to be trying to take a win off Kieran for the first time. And we'll see how this all pans out, because Arnold's penalty is going to make this really difficult for him. And with these safety cars, he's losing more and more laps to make that time up. Obviously, Red Matt and Cam, race is ruined. Nothing that can be done about that though now. The people who are still yet to stop for the 2nd time, who have to, Red Matt, Cam, MK Bourne, Bettino, Risky. The rest of them have all made their stops, but those guys are going to fall down. And they're going to fall down right to the back now. And so it does mean you will end up with Kieran from Arnold, from Kyle, from Jamie as your fight for the win. With a little cameo from even Jake. Perhaps the mediums are the better tire at the end of the race. We'll find out when we get there. But it certainly should be an interesting end to this race. Sadly, Pete is holding us all back because he's lost yet another front wing.
No, and he's boxing again for the 5th time.
That will keep
I'm surprised he hasn't retired. I'm surprised he hasn't retired, but liking this new rule that if you retire, you don't get points. So I like that rule. It means that nobody can't give up in this race, but that means the safety car's got to go on and on and on and on and on. And
I hope not. I hope they see sense here. This guy can't drive. There's no point waiting for him. He's better on his own than putting others in danger.
He should stick to Kia series commentary. Joking.
He's past it, isn't he? I mean, mind you, he still tells me that he will win a race this season. He told me in confidence the other week which race that will be. And I'm going to hold him to it. He can crash all he wants today as long as he wins that one race. This whole season, this disastrous season so far, will be justified. But at the moment, 3 front wings. And the safety car is staying out, isn't it? They are waiting for him. Against their better judgment, they are waiting.
Yeah, and sometimes I think Taz usually gives us a report now how many front wings people lose. So I think Pete will be going up by the end of this race. So I don't want to see that stat.
There's still time to lose enough one, Jess.
No, Pete, just stay on the track, please. I don't want you to lose another one. I want some racing. Go on, Pete.
So safety car is out for one more tour, and then after that it'll pull in. No one can pit on that restart lap. I think you're going to have to see some though on the lap at the end of the restart lap, because there's time running out in this race. There's only going to be 7 laps to go at the start of the next lap, and when Jamie or Kyle or Arnoud or Kieran cross the line, it'll be one of those 4, I reckon, that will win the race. Okay, on his Joker, hasn't really done it in the Joker style, but he's up there and might have a chance of getting Jake. If he can get Jake early, he'll be right in this fight as well. And I think right now Kieran's just going to be, trying to keep calm, but he knows there's a serious chance at the victory here. But he also knows how the circus of JACKOCAR works, and so he's really just got to keep this on the island and just not crash like last year, basically. That's all you got to do.
Don't have a final lap pile-up in Japan like last season. That's all we care about, Kieran. But yeah, I would be under pressure if I was Kieran, to be honest, because he's his first season on the wheel in all leagues, and he's in chance of a victory. He's timed this perfectly, but he is struggling a little bit in between safety cars, so it's going to be tough for him. But he knows that Arnoud and MK Bourne has got, Arnoud's got no penalties. MK Bourne still needs to stop. So we got Kyle and Jamie, who I know are mega quick, like you said. The other Jamie as well. Safety car's in. Hey! Finally, I think it's going to be Red Matt that leads again. Yes, he does. He's probably used to this by now.
Strap in, folks, because the top 2 are not going to be there at the end of this race. For the first time, you're going to see Kieran trying to win a JACKOCAR race. But first, we've got to all get through this restart. Easier said than done. We've got to keep our eye on Arnoud. Surely he's going to have some sort of attack. As we go green once again. Actually, Arnoud's not had the best start. He's actually straight on the defensive. But no one's making many moves towards turn 1. Because they know there's no real point in having another accident. Guys in the midfield, though, are having a go. Jacko's off! Jacko's off. He hasn't broke his car, though, but there goes his chance of a top 10 finish. That's a real shame. He's right at the back of the field now. I think Pete's had another accident. Has he lost another front wing?
I think he spun it in the Casio triangle.
He's got a front wing still, but he has had another incident, yes.
Yeah, he had a bit of a spin. No damage to his name, though, but yes.
Oh, Kieran, Christ above.
This is like what is it? Monza, while we're watching the 2 McLarens, making sure they don't bin it. This is the same tension that we're getting at the moment here. Just Kieran, keep it on the road. Hold up Arnoud and MK Bourne as much as you can. You've got this. You've got this. But I'm not going to say anything more, as someone's lost their front wing quite badly, actually. Iceman.
Has to be him. Not another.
Yeah, it is Iceman.
Speed car with serious damage, but for once it hasn't put a safety car out. So that's something, I guess. Thomas trying not to put one out, but actually we've got to look at Arnoud, because Arnoud's making the move on Kieran. He's made a really good move to the inside line, but he has made contact. And MK Bourne and Kyle are fighting. Kyle, this is a crucial move for him as he gets himself through. And now he'll be finding himself on the back. The top 2 in the pits are all making their crucial pit stops now. They've got to make a second stop. Kieran now officially leads this race. And Arnoud, fastest lap, but he can't find a way through. And it is also absolutely Jamie on the back of Kyle. So we know the top 4. We said this earlier. Somehow Pete now is at the fastest lap despite all of his accidents, and we have a yellow flag in sector 1. Thomas is in the wall, and that's a real shame. He was recovering from that accident, or from that jump start, but now he's fallen back down again, and more yellows. Oh, it's red, Matt. Oh, for goodness sake, what a shame. He's had such a good day, and now it's all falling down the drain, and we're seeing a bit of chaos, but somehow Kieran still holds this lead, and man, his bottle right now. This is going to be so frightening for him, because he's going to have to take so much pressure. He hopes now that Kyle gets involved with Arnoud, because Kyle doesn't want to let Arnoud get clear either, because if he lets that happen as SC Max goes off the track, then that free-setting penalty, knowing Arnoud, he'll probably make that gap. So Kyle, he knows he's got a chance to win as well. So does Jamie. All 4 of these guys, they know they've got a real chance at this.
I was going to say Jake as well, but he's got a penalty, so... And a KK could be on for some points as well, so... good points as well, considering the bad starts of the season he had. So, because typical that he has to have a joker in order to have a good race, but he's already done 2 stops. But he can't complain, I guess, for a KK. He's had a nice recovery anyway, and the DRS is enabled now. So I believe everyone's done their mandatory stops everyone's required to. So it's going to be a sprint to the finish. Somehow, after all of this, even after Pete spins, he's up to P13 with making 5 stops. This is like Janel last season, but you know, there we go. And Jacko's in 10th after that spin as well. But you can see, I think Arnaud just is not giving up, isn't he? But if Kieran just can hold on for a few more laps, as we've got our first retiree of Estimats in the pit lane, I believe.
Well, he's forgotten the rule, hasn't he? He's forgotten the rule. You've got to finish to get points. He should have just kept going there, and he hasn't. But I think Kyle's lost some time. He has. Arnaud is now going for the lead. Look at Kieran. He's moving all over the road. The man with the fastest lap is definitely trying to hold on to the race lead as well, as Kieran slides through Spoon Corner. And Arnaud does as well. They're really struggling out there, but Kyle cannot close in. He's not able to take advantage. There's a real chance he could win this race, but he just hasn't got the pace for it at the moment. Arnaud is still setting a faster lap than he did last time round. That's how much these guys are pushing. But surely Kieran can hold this lead a little bit longer. But now we're going to see for the first time in this race, really, a DRS fight for the lead. Arnaud opens the rear wing and heads towards turn 1. Kieran's going to really have to defend this one as he goes to the inside line, Arnaud. I think he's going to be able to pull fully ahead before turn 1, and he does. So 3 laps, 3 seconds. That's the goal that Arnaud is achieving. Can he do it?
And most importantly, can Kieran keep up the pace? Because if he keeps up with the pace of Arnaud, he will get this race win. So all he needs to do is just stay behind. But Carl's dropped a bit from Kieran. So Kieran could finish P2 and climb up a lot of position in the championship standings, which more crucially could decide who gets into the playoffs midway through the season as well. The gap now 6/10. I think Kieran's going to have advantage of the DRS into the Casio Triangle. Kieran's actually surprisingly doing very well at the back of Arnaud. So this could be the race win still. That's Thomas that's been able to... Oh, Thomas is mowing the lawn and he's got a front wing damage.
Worth pointing out that Arnaud's got a lot less ERS than Kieran. That'll be crucial in these last 2 laps, just to keep him close on the straights. But Kieran, he's got to keep his warnings down. If he gets a penalty at this stage, it'll just be disastrous. They've just got to keep this going, because I don't think Arnaud's going to be able to make the gap. With this DRS, Kieran should close nicely in. Will he think about going for the lead, just to properly confirm it? Let's see. We saw Arnaud was able to close really quickly on the main straight, but I think actually he's had a good exit out of the Casio Triangle, and Kieran's not going to get close to him. You can see the closing speed, but Arnaud's still comfortably ahead into turn 1. But there's 2 to go, and the gap is nowhere near where it needs to be at the moment.
Oh no! Kieran spun!
And,
no!
Well, didn't actually see it on the camera angle, but yes, he has gone. So now, Jamie and Kyle, they find themselves... Oh, and Jamie's gone as well. It's not raining again. It's not raining again, I promise, but they're struggling. And OKK now moves past as well. Who's got more penalties? Because this could decide the podium. Deck could be looking at a podium because OKK's gone off as well. They're really struggling. It's bizarre, this. But they just got to keep this on the island now, which is easier said than done apparently on this lap. So a podium. I think Jake should be okay for it actually, as it stands.
Yeah, Jake should be fine.
So all we've got to decide now is can Kyle steal the win off Arnaud and book his place in the playoffs? I don't even want to look at what Kieran is doing at the moment. I know it's him who's caused another yellow flag. I'm just going to ignore it.
I think he's put his head in shame.
Oh, Christ
Jake
above! What's going on? We've now lost Iceman. Is it raining again? Are we just missing something? Because everyone's crashing all of a sudden, and it's just. I think there's another one off. They're just all over the show.
They're all going off. They're literally all going off. I'm looking at the penalties as well. A KK could be up into P5 out of all of this. Another yellow flag. That's Kieran again. Let's ignore him and pretend that doesn't happen. Oh, a KK's gone off as well. I swear, let's just not talk about any driver. Let's not talk about any driver. And
I'm sorry, Deck is now on for third. I mean, I'm not trying to say it's an upset, but how the hell has that happened? He was I mean, Jamie's been 17 places. He's not going to get a podium for his troubles. Jamie's off again. Guys, what's happened out here? Have you forgotten how to puncture? Risky's got a puncture. Is that double puncture? It's just one puncture. Well, that's one position for Kieran, at least. I think there's been a few more accidents. Risky. A few more accidents, but we've got to keep our eye on this lead fight. Because I think there's another crash, but we'll ignore it. Because we're on board with Kyle, who hasn't won a race this season just yet. You can see the gap's 2.2 seconds to Arnaud, and unless he joins the very long list of accidents in these last few laps, he is going to be booking his ticket to the playoffs. And once again, Arnaud is going to find himself crossing the line first, but not winning in JACKOCAR. Here comes Kyle, your winner in Japan.
There we go, and we've got a debut podium sitter as Jamie's not going to cross the line in third because of the penalties, but it is Deck in only his second race in JACKOCAR. I think his second race in JACKOCAR, books his place on the podium. I'm sure he'll be happy with that.
Guess who's retired from the race? Jess.
Oh God, Kieran.
That's just pain. Risky kept going with the puncture, by the way. Oh, look at that! It's delaminated now. I mean, that's not. I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty sure a tire's not meant to do that.
No.
Even on a Codemasters level, that's just a bit silly looking, isn't it?
Yes, but don't forget you have to finish to score points. And
yes.
but Risky, you've got 2 minutes, my friend.
Plenty enough time. It's lucky it's not a rear puncture, because then you'd be in serious trouble. So ends then what must be one of the most dramatic endings to a JACKOCAR race we've ever seen. And we missed half of it because so many drivers crashed.
Fun.
I mean, they all just started going up. We lost 3 cars in the last, 2 laps, and then many more spun. And, well, this is the end result. I mean, you can see Risky still parading round. And that's...
At one point...
Just... Oh, he's missed the last corner.
He doesn't care.
Not the line.
He doesn't care. He's still going to get 1 point.
Well, that's if he doesn't get himself disqualified for all these corner cuts, but he does cross the line eventually. But,
That was crazy. But we've got a second winner into the playoffs joining J-Luke then. And Jamie gets driver of the day in game. Yeah, I think Jamie had a good race, actually, despite the troubles as well. But, yeah, I don't think Carl will be expecting to win that one, as he was, I think, the regular season champion one season, and he could be regular season champion this season if he keeps up his good form as well. But we had so many... Well, basically, the race leader of Kieran, he just spun in turn 1, and his race was over after that. And then he just shaked his head in disgust, and he just gave up, so... There we go. That is his chance. Joker strategy out the window.
Oops, he's done it again. Not really too surprised, is it? I mean, we said it last season. It's happened again. I mean, this time it was for the win. Last time it was like 5th. But this time it's for the win. He's lost it. And we don't want to dwell on this too much. But it's happened again. Kyle then wins in an ERT 1-2. Arnaud... Of course he didn't win the race. I mean, we've said this too many times. He is absolutely incompetent when it comes to winning races in this league. I mean, it'll come to him eventually, but it hasn't happened at the moment. Deck, sensational 3rd place. Jordan 4th, but driver today for me is Jamie. What a performance. Shame about the penalty, but 19th on that restart, I think he was. 5th at the end. Brilliant. Jake as well, really strong race from him. Camu Babu, what a day for him as well. That's fantastic. 0 points coming into this race. That's going to send him flying up the table now. Good for him. Cam in 8th, Pete 9th. What? He lost 3 front wings in that race, and he still finishes 9th.
5 stops as well.
This is ridiculous.
Oh god.
Red Matt ends up in 10th. I do feel for him. He did lose out quite badly, thanks to Pete, really. MK Bourne 11th, Jacko 12th on debut, and then Vitinho, Jamie, OKK, Thomas, Risky, all these drivers from Vitinho downwards all just decided they were going to start crashing at the end. Risky, then the retirement, so you don't score any points. Kieran, Iceman, SD Mats. And, well, if you thought that was a dramatic day, wait until you see what we've got up for grabs next week. We're going to have the double at Silverstone, 2 25% races, both with their own separate qualifying sessions, possibly Jacko racing again. I will certainly be there. Maybe Jess will be there as well. We don't know. But until then, hope you all enjoyed. Kyle is going to the playoffs, and we will see you all next week. We'll give you plenty of time to recover from that one. I don't blame you if you've got a bit loopy after that one. I'm certainly going to need to take some time to recover, but hope you all enjoyed it. And safe travels, everyone.